Welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C, and today we're going to continue on with our series of looking under the hood of some Major League Baseball players and seeing if what they were able to do in previous seasons is sustainable, repeatable, or if we might be due for some sort of regression overall. Today we're going to look at the guys that are knocking the ball out of the park at a silly pace, and just again opening up the hood and seeing if what they did, can they do it again, hopefully, or are we due for some sort of regression or pullback. One of the metrics I like to start with is the home run to fly ball ratio. With any of these ratios, these indicators, it's best to combine them with other metrics and to really get a feel. So if you look at an indicator, it'll tell you one thing, and it doesn't tell you much more than that. You know, was that good or bad? Is this something they can do? Some of these guys have a skill set where they can outperform what the rest of the league is doing, so that's why they're really good. But a lot of times there is some sort of regression to league averages, and so we want to just see if what they're doing is sustainable or if this was kind of a one-off here. So I want to throw out a couple of names for kind of a baseline so you can see how this works. A lot of the data for Major League Baseball, fly ball data, line drive, the percentages, they didn't really start really paying attention to that until the year 2002. 2015, 2016 is where you really got into the StatCast era. You start to see launch angle and things of that nature. So as much as I wanted to go back and take a look at 1927 Babe Ruth or 2001 Barry Bonds, most of this data didn't get started till just a year after that. So we'll do our best here. Brian Howard had a pretty terrific season, and this is a good example here. In 2006, he had 58 home runs. 36% of the balls that he hit were in the air, and 40% of those left the park. And so when you're looking at home run to fly ball ratio, 25 to 30% is where the guys that can consistently hit home runs, that's kind of where they can be. They can go up a little bit higher, but ultimately they'll regress just a little bit into that area. So when you get really extended, you want to normalize it just a little bit to see, okay, it was a great season, can't take anything away from you, but is this something that you can do year after year? And so you want to run a couple of numbers just to see where they might settle in. So home run percentage, so 14% of all of his hits left the park, which is an insane number. I mean, that's Babe Ruth basically. So 58 home runs, kind of Babe Ruth. So that makes some sense. If we normalize that home run to fly ball rate to what a normal power hitter would do, 36% of the balls in the air, 25% of those leaving the park, then we would wind up with something closer to 50. And you can see over the next 3 years, Ryan Howard, 2007 to 2009, hit 47, 48, and 50 home runs. So what an incredible stretch. But when you have these outlier years, again, you can kind of calculate maybe a little bit of regression coming. Doesn't have to happen. Some of these guys are so good it doesn't matter. But more often than not, they will come back to some sort of a baseline. Barry Bonds, what a monster stretch. Again, a lot of this data started in 2002, and I really wanted that 2001 season, but we couldn't quite do it. So still a pretty good stick here. So 46 home runs in 2002, 47% of the balls he hit were in the air. I think he had like 400 at-bats for the most part. He had like 200 walks. It was just insane. So he was able to have an elevator rate with a smaller sample size. 27% of those left the park. Home run to fly ball rate of 12%, which is elevated. So we could normalize this, but there's not a lot of normalization needed here. If you're trying to bring it back to that 25-30% area, well, that's kind of what he was doing, and he continued to play at a pretty high level. So with Ryan Howard, you see these extended metrics. It's like there could be some regression. With Barry Bonds, it's like, well, no, that's just what he does. He's awesome. So let's get into some modern day players and see what we can see here. We'll start it off with Jared Walsh, and this is in ascending order from their fly ball or their home run to fly ball percentage. So they're in that area where it's like, well, either you got lucky or this is just what you do and you're really good, and then we'll increasingly get a little bit more out on the board here. So 2021, 29 home runs. His fly ball percentage was 30%, and that's a career low for him. So he didn't have that 35-40% where he's been for the first couple of years. He's still kind of a young guy in a small sample size here. 25% of the balls left the park, which is completely normal here. Home run percent 7.5, which is actually on the low side, as you see a lot of these guys in that 9-10% area here. So his launch angle 7.8 degrees as well. You really want to be in that 15 to 20 degree area where you can launch the ball out of the park the most efficiently. So a lot of these things are lining up where it's like, well, gosh, if he starts to hit 30 home runs and his fly ball percentage is at 40%, keeping these ratios, then his home run fly ball will actually go low, and you'd look for him to do a little bit better. So, but maximum exit velocity 115 miles per hour. So he's got as much pop as a lot of these big boys, and if he's able to increase that launch angle just a little bit, perhaps. And hit some more fly balls, that percentage of fly balls and maintain that 25% of fly balls that leave the park. We're looking at a guy that could hit 35 home runs or something like that going forward. So regression, I'll take the other side on Jared Walsh. I think he can do a little bit more, and especially with that lineup, if they bring in like a Carlos Correa and you have a healthy Trout and Ohtani, that's gonna lift a lot of these guys up here. So Tyler O'Neill from the Cardinals, what a terrific season he had, 2021, 34 home runs, 40% of the balls he hit were in the air, 26% of those left of the park. So that number is okay. 25 to 30% for a home run hitter is normal. That's fine. That fly ball percentage is a little bit high. Think back to Ryan Howard for the most part here. Home run percentage 10.7% of his hits were home runs basically. As launch angle, he's right in that sweet spot, 15 to 20 degrees, so he can still hit home runs. That maximum exit velocity, not at elite levels or anything like that. It's up there. It's up there. It's really good. But the elite guys are 115, 120, so he's hanging with them. He can hit the bombs. But perhaps this is maybe this is at the higher end of what he's going to do. So he's got a consistent fly ball rate over the last 3 years, and his home run to fly ball ratio was up from 14 to 17% up to that 26%. So this is where the increase in home runs came from, and he hits half the balls at what was deemed as a hard hit percentage. So again, with Tyler O'Neill, this is a skill set that it's sustainable. But if he came in just shy of that number next year, I don't think it would surprise me or anybody else a whole lot here. All right, Salvador Perez, what a beast here. 48 home runs, 40% of the balls he hit in the air, 26% of them left the park. Sustainable, aggressive, home run percentage is at the high end. And so the last couple of years, actually, the shortened 2020 season and this year, he did it. This is just what he did. Before that, you would say, oh my gosh, this is anomalous. So launch angle 15 degrees, which is nice. A career high of 114 miles per hour exit velocity. So 50% of the balls he hit are hard hit. He's barreling up 16% of his balls. So that means you're hitting it in a hard hit rate with that proper launch angle. Home run to fly ball rate is up from, again, his career has been in the low teens, and now he's sitting at 25%. He's done that for the past couple of years. What he is doing is striking out at a higher clip than he had before. So he's doing this on purpose. He's trying to hit more bombs, doesn't care if he strikes out, taking more cuts, and if that's what he chooses to do, he's shown that he can do it for the last couple of years. 48 home runs. Again, if that fly ball rate comes back down to 30%, or 35%, and you maintain that home run to fly ball ratio, then this number is going to naturally come down just a little bit. But that old man strength is kicking in, and he's sure making the best of it. So I'm not looking for a repeat, but he certainly is capable of still of putting up 40 plus. So it's fun to see here. Joey Votto, 36 home runs, and I think those all came in like a 2-week span or something like that. He decided he's just going to hit bombs, and he did it really, really well. 40% of the balls were in the air. 20 of his hits were in the air. 26% of those left the park. Again, a little bit aggressive, pretty sustainable. Home run percentage 11, so that's up there just a little bit, and that's coming from that fly ball percentage. If he brings it back down to 35% and maintains this ratio, then that number comes down. The home runs come down as well. So launch angle 18 degrees, career high. So he's trying to do this, and he's a good enough hitter that he can do it. Kids, look at this. Elbow up, that forearm is up, and that back elbow is tucked in. This is how you do it. Those hands out in front. He's right in mid snap here, just timing that ball up perfectly. So I think if we drew a line from here to here, you would see 18 degrees of launch angle. So just an amazing hitter. Exit velocity maximum at 114 miles per hour, which is his highest as well. So what he's done is similar to Salvador Perez. 24% strikeout rate is well above his career average. So he's trading strikeouts for home runs. Like, I'm going to strike out more, and I'm just going to swing for the fences, and he can do it better than most, and so it's working to his favor here. So as far as doing this, now again, a lot of this happened like mid-season and beyond. He had a crazy stretch here. Maybe he can be a 40 home run guy if he's able to come out of the gates with what he did in the middle of the season and just kind of keep it going here. But again, it's elevated. It's working for him. I don't think that there's many players other than Joey Votto that could probably get away with this crap here. So, all right, Vladdy Jr., 48 home runs for the season. 36% of the balls he hit in the air, 26% of them left the park. Home run rate, 9.6%. None of these are out of line here, which is kind of crazy. 10% launch angle. One of the things we talked about in our season preview last year is, if he starts to lift the ball, he could really start to do some damage. He didn't really lift the ball, and he did damage anyways. 117 miles per hour maximum exit velocity. Basically, he's seeing the ball, he's hitting the ball, walks 12% of the time, strikes out 16% of the time, which is amazing. He's not trading Ks for anything. He's just hitting the ball well. And, again, a little more lift, and this guy's he's hitting 60 home runs. So have we seen the best from Vladdy? Maybe not here, so I kind of like it. I'm not looking for regression on that one at all. Bryce Harper, your two-time MVP, 35 home runs last year, 37% of the balls he hits in the air, roughly 27% of them leaving the park. That is his highest level since 2015. His home run rate sustainably at 10% roughly. Launch angle 13 degrees. I have to quit saying percent on that one. And his maximum exit velocity, a beastly 116 miles per hour. This is the lowest of his career. So the dude wasn't even hitting the ball in the air. What if he starts hitting 40% of his balls in the air, maintains this rate? Then that home run goes even higher. So this is kind of what he does. He's totally capable of this. And if he puts a few more balls in the air, gets that launch angle up just a tick, looking at a 40 home run guy, which he's absolutely capable of. Giancarlo Stanton, 35 home runs for the year. 36% of the balls he hits goes in the air, and that's consistent for him. That's just what he does. Home run to fly ball rate, nothing special out of this one. So just, for a power hitter, anyways. If you're Billy Hamilton, that's pretty darn special. Apparently, if you're Gleyber Torres, that's pretty darn special. For a lot of these big guys, again, you're looking for 25, 30% or something like that. So 10% of the balls leaves the park. Nothing crazy on that one here. Launch angle, 10 degrees, and maximum exit velocity, leading the league at 122 miles per hour. Giancarlo Stanton is a beast. Let's just get a full season out of the dude. Launch angle up just a little bit, and we know what he can do. He can do 50 home runs there. So, again, he just had it was an average season for Giancarlo Stanton. Joey Gallo, always happy. Love the guy. All right, 38 home runs. 50% of his balls were hit in the air, and that is normal for him. So he just pops the damn thing up in the air, and most of the time it leaves the park here. 27% of those left the park, and that, again, normal for him. So his home run rate was 13.7%, which you would think is completely, which is crazy for people, right? That's a really high number, but for Joey Gallo, that's below what he does when he hits 40 home runs. So the guy just hits in. He's true outcome player. You can look at this. All of a sudden, you look at his numbers, and it's like, yeah, when he hits the ball, it's probably going out, or he's striking out or something like that. Although he reduces strikeouts a bit this year. Launch angle of 22 degrees. So just naturally, uppercut swing that's putting the ball in the air. Unfortunately, he's got the power to put it out of the park most of the time here with a very nice 150 mile per hour exit velocity. So he is what he is. You know what he's going to do here. The big question with him is he going to hit 205 or is he going to hit 240? So we're not worried about the home runs. Those are just going to come. So not looking for regression on him. He'd be a batting average regression guy, if anything. As far as the home runs, well, we know what he's going to do, and he's probably he's capable of doing it now. At some point, age is going to catch up, and you're not going to be able to put the ball up with that level of exit velocity, and then you start to see these numbers. If he has a 50% fly ball rate, and the rest of these metrics start to fall just a little bit, then that could spell some trouble, but he hasn't shown that decline yet. So let's go, Joey. All right, Aaron Judge, 39 home runs, 35% of his balls in the air. That is normal for him. Home run to fly ball ratio, low for him. So there's room for him to do even more, and he's proven that already. So that should come as no surprise. 10% of the balls that he hits leave the park. Launch angle, second lowest of his career at around 12 degrees, and his maximum exit velocity at a healthy 119 miles per hour. So just put the ball up a little bit more here. And we're looking at 50 home runs. Really, for Aaron Judge, 40 to 50 home runs is kind of a given if he just stays healthy. Again, stay healthy. Top 5 player in the league. We've said it before. I'll say it once again. So I'm not going to bet on the under on that one, because what he's doing is, as far as the launch angle and the home run to fly ball rate are actually a little bit low. I will take the over on that if he's able to play a sufficient number of games. Javier Baez, 31 home runs last year. I think his career high was like 34 or something like that. So fly ball rate, 35, I'm going to call it 35% of the time. 28% of those balls left the park, and he's usually around 20% of the time a ball goes in the air, it leaves the park. So last year, we talked about him a bit during the season, and he was kind of swinging out of his shoes. As long as he puts both cheeks into it, he can get the ball out of the park, but having a little trouble elsewhere. So, this number wasn't super surprising, but a lot of those other numbers, I think he struck out a little bit more and hit a few more balls on the ground. Just not the greatest contact ever. But when he squared it up, it was terrific. 10% of the balls leaving the park. Launch angle 10 degrees, maximum exit velocity 116 miles per hour. So these are sustainable numbers, but what you're counting on for Javi, if you want him to keep hitting 30 plus home runs, is he needs to continue to put a high number of balls out of the park at that home run to fly ball ratio. So is he a changed hitter at this point? That's what we're looking for. We need a couple more years of seeing this before we're really buying into the fact that, yeah, he can hit 30% of his fly balls out of the park. When he's typically been around 20%. So something to watch. It's kind of interesting, take the under till now, but if he does this again, then you need to start saying, all right, he's changed things just a little bit. Perhaps that's what new surroundings will do for you. And if that's the case, then that's just what he is going forward here. So, again, this is just about, playing some of the this is not scientific or anything like that. There's a lot of other elements that come into this. So things to watch for anyways. Fernando Tatis Jr., 42 home runs for the year. 40% of the balls that he hit went into the air. His home run to fly ball ratio was a normal for him, 32%. So that's a high number for people, 25 to 30%. So he's in that extended range, but he's been able to maintain that for a couple of years. And he only played 130 games last year or something like that. So could be a 50 home run guy. He's putting the ball in the air. He's knocking it out at a big clip. And so this is where he became a 30, 35 home run guy pace to a guy that's pacing closer to 50. So he's able to maintain his home run to fly ball ratio while hitting more fly balls. And so naturally that's going to give a lift to all those numbers here. Home run rate 12%. A launch angle 13 degrees and a maximum exit velocity of 116 miles per hour. Most players, I would look at this and be like, all right, extended. But the dude keeps doing it, so you just got to roll with it. Generational type stuff so far. And it'll be interesting. If he ever puts together, he's been pacing for 50 plus home runs. He just hasn't played a full season to do it. So let's see if he can get that done in the current season if they play. Why does MLB just tangent? Why do they keep screwing with these young guys? You've got the league to yourself right now. Okay, football is over. The other sports are kind of dragging before they get to their playoffs. Everybody should be excited about spring training. You've got Soto and Vlad and Acuna soon enough, I guess. Look at Ohtani. Look at Tatis. What these guys are doing, and you keep screwing with their career overall. I mean, this is just mismanagement on an epic scale. You have everything going for you. You're not doing everything you can to get these guys out on the field. Right now, your attendance decline. Everything's declining for you. Your attendance, viewership, people are gravitating to other sports, and you keep jerking them around like this. I mean, baseball can't get out of its own way. It's disgusting. Maybe next year I'm doing this kind of crap for football or basketball. For now, I still love it, and I believe they'll get something done. But, man, it just fires me up that they just can't get out of their own way here. So, all right, your number interesting segue, huh? Sorry about that. Just was on my mind. I'm like, I can't hold this in anymore here. So, Shohei Ohtani, 46 home runs last year. What a beast. 40% fly ball rate. So, 40% of the balls he hit went into the air. 32% of those left the park. So, that's the highest he's ever done. That's the highest since his rookie year. 13% home run rate. Launch angle, very nice launch angle, excellent exit velocity. So yeah, this may be a touch high if he's still able to maintain 30% home run to fly ball ratio, which is elevated, but maybe he hits 35% of his balls in the air, then that number is going to come down. So maybe he's a 42 home run guy or something like that than this. But it depends on how much he pitches or anything like that. But absolutely legitimate stuff. I mean, this all lines up like, yeah, sure, he can absolutely do this. Now he strikes out a ton as well. So maybe see if he can get that under control. But from the power department, that's what we're focused on today. Terrific stuff overall. But also one of the bigger, more likely candidates for some sort of regression going into the next season. Should we have one? Jerks. So anyways, thank you very much. I guess that's the end. That's all I got there. Thanks very much for watching and your support and all that kind of good stuff. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye now.